Hello, everyone. It is November 30th, 2021. It's Dr. Susie, and I'm here tonight in Colorado anyway to just further the discussion on biting in horses. And was wondering which way I should start, and I thought, well, I start where I always do, right? And that is to look at this as a relationship with your horse. This biting behavior is part of your relationship with your horse. And therefore, as part of the relationship, we have a role in this. So, the very first thing I usually do when I come across someone that has a biting behavior in their horse is that we're going to look at them and see what we can do as humans to support a change in our horses, to create an atmosphere, an environment for a horse in which they don't need to bite us anymore. And that it's going to begin first of all with really taking a look at us. And yesterday I talked a little bit about um, anxiety in humans, and that can also create some anxiety in horses, and one of the manifestations of that is biting. And so what I can do, and I like to start here and just see if we can change ourselves and be in a really good place first, and we can either rule in or out our contribution to the problem. So here's what I do very first with anyone that comes in and they've got this biting thing, is that we're going to sit in a place and just be quiet first. The horse can be, I usually, if it's a horse doing really severe biting behaviors, I'll be have them in the round pen or behind a barrier in their stall, and we're outside the stall as humans, so we're safe. And what we do then is we begin doing my circle breathing that I talk about, and I can go into this more in maybe the next session. I don't have too much time tonight to do this, but I will begin doing my breathing. And I will ask the person first off where their breathing is. Is it in their chest? Do they feel it in the middle part, or do they feel it down low? And I always remind them, if you go in, and this is really hard if you have a horse that has a dangerous behavior, if you go in and they start coming at you and biting you, and the very first thing you're probably going to do is go into chest breathing, anxiety breathing. And what that's going to do is contribute to the problem. So it's going to just escalate the problem. So the very first thing that we look at is, can we get to a place where we're breathing slowly, regularly, and that will also slow our thoughts down. And we will stand outside the stall or the enclosure where the horse is, and we will just begin breathing, and we'll check how our breath rate, and we will slow that down, and we will watch for changes in the horse. Does the anxiety level go down? Does the tendency to want to bite resolve a little bit on just us taking the time to ground ourselves and breathe? And oftentimes I see that the horses do not like it when we are in that anxiety breath. And especially if they tend to be an anxious horse anyway, it just will escalate that behavior. And then they're going to have to express that excess energy that they're building up, that excess stress is going to have to come out at some point. And the way often it comes out is in biting or kicking or something like that. So we want to be evaluating the horses. We're standing there breathing, is to make sure that horse is staying relaxed. And again, this is, you're going to be able to evaluate that by looking at the horse's eyes. Does he have a relaxed look on his face, or is he in stress? And as we continue to breathe, I'm going to be monitoring, does this horse come down and become more relaxed as we just change our breathing? And a lot of times it's really just as simple as that for some of these horses, especially the ones that do the really quick nipping, like they're all over you all the time. And it's like, they're not really they're making teeth contact with your skin or anything, but they're just like around you and just like, and they make you crazy. And those are the ones I find that if we just change our breathing, that really helps out a lot. Um, so that would be my first thing, is we're going to look at our human. We're going to look at the human contribution to this, and we're going to try to support the horse as much as we can. And this is where it's different than some of the other techniques out there, because they're all horse focused. It's like make the horse stop doing this. You don't have any role in the whole thing other than to learn the technique. And then you don't have to check where you're at or what you're thinking or what you're feeling or any of those things. You just go about fixing the horse. And I'm just the opposite of that. I'm going to make sure we're in the right place to support any change in behavior in that horse. And the way we do that is we slow our breath rate down, we slow our thoughts down, we have control over our emotional state. And this gets us into the next piece of when you have a horse that has these dangerous behaviors, you begin to feel like you're always on guard. You go in there with a level of tension yourself and anticipation that this behavior is going to happen, and you've got to guard yourself. And this is probably the hardest thing to work through, is to be neutral when you go in there. And what I usually do, if I'm in the vicinity of a horse and he's standing next to me and he's coming around and trying to bite, I don't ever push his face away. I don't smack him. I don't do anything like that, but I will protect myself. So I'll stand in a position where I'm next to his shoulder facing his head, and I have my hand up, and he'll run into my hand here, and I'll just stay with him on his shoulder so that I'm always in that safe zone. But I'm thinking the whole time when he comes over and he runs into my hand here, it does nothing. There's no anger in it. There's no frustration. There's no need to correct him. It's just there. So it becomes just a thing instead of something he can fight then against. If we go about pushing on the horse or smacking him, there's always some level of frustration or anger in us. And you can check yourself and see if you ever experience that when you go to correct a horse. Do you have this little bit of like, don't do that to me? How dare you do that to me? And I see it all the time. And there's times when I can feel like, whoa, that would come up in me. And I've got to stop and check myself and go, no, this is not about a fight. He's just expressing something, and I'm just going to be neutral to it because I'm going to give him nothing to fight about, nothing at all to fight against here as a human. I'm just going to be in my soft space. I'm going to protect myself, and I'm going to say, hey, I get it. I'm going to help you out here as best I can. We're going to get to the root of this problem for you. So those things like your thoughts are so critical. And if you think about it, also the people that when you have a horse that has a history of a certain behavior, it's very hard not to think about him doing that when you go in to your area with him. And that is also another hard one on the human's part, is like, can we stop that picture going on in our head about what we expect to happen? And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll have people work outside of the time with their horse, so that they're not engaged in the actual physical part with their horse. And I'll have them practice away from the horse in their house at night or in the morning or during the day. And I will have them go through a scenario in their mind with the pictures, the feelings, and all that of the perfect situation with their horse, until they can feel like they could go in and they have a different movie running about what their horse's behavior is going to be that day. And we just practice that and practice that away from the horse, so that when you go in there, you don't get triggered. And it's really important, because any behavior that you want to have the horse not do anymore, you're going to have to be able to create a picture of what you do want him to do, not what you don't want him to do. And I know you've heard that 1,000 times from 1,000 different people, but even though we hear it all the time, we don't do it. And so I'm here to tell you one more time, just don't do it. And I have to tell myself that too when I get in. It's like, oh, I could see, oh, this is starting to go, and I'm starting to make that picture. Oh, stop, breathe, get yourself back together. Don't proceed on doing anything until you feel confident you can go forward and have a positive picture running of what you want to have happen, and that you're breathing in a regular and slow manner, and that you're not chest breathing and indicating to the horse that there's stress. Now, this seems all easy on the surface, right? It seems so easy just to be able to, oh, sure, I can go do that. When it comes down to the time when that 1,000-pound horse is standing next to you, biting you, that's not so easy. And so a lot of this I work on the human part of it away from the horse, away from the situation. So that's not an extra problem there when they're trying to do it. So um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There's some things about rubbing a horse's muzzle or doing different things like that when they bite you, and that may work for some biting behavior problems. What I usually do when I do any kind of work with a horse or changing behaviors, I almost never touch the horse, never. And that way I'm not correcting and I'm not encouraging. Sometimes a horse, if it's very insecure, it's going to look to you to fix the problem for them. They're going to be on top of you going, hey, I don't want to look at my stuff. And here, if I rub my head on you, if then I bite you, then I can put it on you. And my saying always is, your stuff is yours and mine is mine. And you got this. And I'm not going to baby a horse through anything. I'm going to let them figure out how to resolve their own problems on their own, in their own space, not on top of me or not in my space. And if you work with me, if you do a clinics with me, you'll get to see how this process works. And it's really, really hard sometimes when you first start out because you so much want to go in and go, oh, I want to help you out. I'll just scratch you here and it'll make you feel better. And really, you're just enabling that behavior to stay. And that's the hardest thing for me to tell people. And for me being a very empathic and nurturing and all that, and it's like, oh, it's so hard not to want to go over there and just go, I can help you out with your problem. No, because then they'll always put their problems on you, just like a person that you enable on to put all their stuff on you. And I'm sure many of you have the same thing I have in my lifetime. You can put all your stuff on me, I'll take care of everything. And then I'm like, I just feel horrible. And I just got run over and I'm a doormat and everybody runs over the top of me. And, it was until I said, hey, no, my stuff is mine and yours is yours. And you got this. And that's what any relationship is about, is like each party coming in without a need for the other to fulfill something that's missing. And this is where we're going to get to this place with this biting behavior, is that where is the missing thing in this horse? What does it need that it's missing right now and it's trying to get by doing the biting behavior? And so until next time, I'm just going to do this short one today, and I will further this discussion along. But just think about this now in this Sacred Spaces place and the training that I do with horses. It's never about just the horse doing something. It's about us first, and us getting in a place that supports everything the horse does and encourages and motivates and all that. And that is on us as humans. It's on us to be clear of what we're doing, concise, know what we're going to do, know where we're going. And that's when the trust begins to develop, when the relationship is like, you know what, I know where I'm going, I know what I'm going to ask you, and I know you're going to come with me. And there's no force and there's no all theatrics that go on. It's just a given. And that's when you find that the relationship is really solid, when you're both going, hey, what can I do for you? And the horse goes, what can I do for you? Hey, let's go do this together. And that's where I'm trying to work toward. And it's so gratifying. And again, there's times when I feel like all of this is kind of new, and the ways that I do things are odd, to say the least. And so there's a lot of faith involved in this work. That faith that it's going to work. And I have total faith because I've done it for 40 years. So I have, of course, I can go in and go, of course it's going to work. I've done it this long and I've never seen it not work. But I can't do that for all of you. It's like, all I can say is that, you follow this, you do these things. I'm going to do my best never to steer you wrong on anything. And I've devoted my life to making sure that I understand all these different facets of this, from the human end to the horse end, so that I can be the best advocate for both. And so anyway, until next time, this is going to end up being about the same length of time as my last video. So I think 15 minutes is probably good. And I will do my best to be on here in the next few days. I'm going to be gone to a clinic over the weekend, so I'll be gone for a little bit of time. But we will continue this discussion and see if we can help you guys kind of understand this in a more complex way than has been presented in a lot of ways in the past. So until the next time, keep experimenting. Know you're the great scientist, and in an experiment, there is no failure. There's only information. So go out there and gather some information, and I will talk to you later. Bye.